Okay, so Vampire Count's turn 3. His Black Knights were already in combat with my Grail Relic. He's not worried about my center too much now, so he takes his skeletons and turns them to the side to face my Knights Errant and my Grail Knights that are coming down on him. He takes and turns his Crypt Ghouls, and he took the vampire character out of his skeleton unit and put it in with the Crypt Ghouls. And my assumption there is just he has the Helm of Commandment, and he doesn't want to be in combat with that character. Doesn't seem to be worried about my Knights of the Realm, but that makes sense because he's probably counting on his Black Knights to beat my Grail Relic, overrun, and charge my Knights of the Realm in the front, and so they really aren't an issue. So the center of the board is just absolutely his because of those Black Knights and the 2 vampires, and I'm pretty frustrated with the way I played that to be in that position. So yeah, Grail Relic is gone, chased him down, now he got the charge into my Knights of the Realm. So, at this stage of the game I'm thinking, man, I've lost my Questing Knights, my Pegasus Knights, my Grail Relic, and my Knights of the Realm all to this one unit because I bunched up in the middle and didn't get enough combat res in there to avoid an auto break. Because in almost every case, if I just hadn't auto broken with the BSB, I might have had a chance. And by the way, once or twice with the BSB, going for Insane Courage, I rolled a 1 and a 2. It was just the dice's way of throwing it in my face. So, Brett, turn 3. We haven't fought with the Knights of the Realm yet, of course. The Knights on the right are bearing down. I just kind of move them up and get them together so I can choose where I charge. Bring my Men-at-Arms up so they can charge somebody, and keep him from countercharging into the flank of my Knights when I get up there. My Vampire Lord, I couldn't see his Vargulf or his Banshee unit, so I just flew in behind his Crypt Ghouls and gave myself line of sight to several things. Trebuchet did some good. I mean, you figure I'm going to die pretty soon, and nevertheless, I passed my terror test at the beginning of the turn and then proceeded to throw a stone on top of his corpse cart and get that thing out of the game. So that's kind of nice. I don't need always strike first going on and other things that the corpse cart can do. So at the end of the turn, my Knights of the Realm are dead, which is not surprising. His turn 4, he takes his Banshee and his Wraiths and charge my General. And this picture actually was taken, I think, at the end of combat, because in the first combat he had an extra Wraith, and I declared a challenge, and the Banshee went to the back of the unit, so I had to fight the others without it, and I got 2 wounds on my Pegasus, which I feel very fortunate. That's all I got. And then at the end of combat, his Banshee had to come up, couldn't hide anymore. So next time I'm going to declare a challenge, and I'll be safe from those 3 others attacking me. So that's kind of nice. Otherwise, yeah, you can just see his skeletons. He turned his Black Knights around, so they're facing the center of the board, and they are scaring me with what they can do. So because he backed up his skeletons, my Men-at-Arms were technically in the front of them, so I decided to go ahead and charge with Men-at-Arms with my BSB nearby. I really just want to hold them up so that they can't charge the flank of my Knights. Let's say if the Knights, they should win that combat. I'm thinking I should beat them and overrun, and should that happen, I don't need his skeletons charging me in the flank. So I just need my Men-at-Arms to hold up there. And there's another picture of it. And a picture of the left side of the board. He moves his Vargulf around. I'm really not sure why. I think, yeah, I don't remember. I don't know why he moved his Vargulf over into the corner like that. I remember when he did it, he had a reason, and I just don't remember it. So at the end of the combat, the Men-at-Arms look like they're in a pillow fight. I lost 1. Looks like he didn't lose any, and it was a draw. So we pushed that combat. The Knights obliterate their unit, they do an overrun, and we're in kind of an awkward position in terms of who can we charge next, who can we see, how can we wheel, and stuff like that, which turned out to be pretty interesting. I like that picture, by the way. So VC turn 5, his Knights weren't quite in range to countercharge into the flank of my Men-at-Arms, so they move up a little bit. He takes his vampire out of the crypt ghouls, and he's just standing there just so he's not in any combats. And he, by the way, uses the Helm of Commandment on the 2 remaining wraiths there fighting my general. Yeah, there's another picture of it. VC turn 5. So at the end of they killed the rest of my Royal Pegasus, but I killed the rest of his wraiths through combat res. So on my turn, my general charges his vampire, which was wonderful. If you remember the picture of my knights errant were facing to the left, and they're about an inch ahead of my Grail Knights. My knights errant couldn't see the crypt ghouls. My Grail Knights could, but I couldn't wheel. What I did was I declared the charge. I moved 4.5 inches forward so that the back of my Grail Knights cleared the front of the knights errant. Then I did probably a 7-inch wheel. I was past the crypt ghouls, and I just wheeled and wheeled and wheeled until I could see him again. And then by that time I was an inch away from him. I just moved forward, and then we maximized. So had we not maximized, I would have had 1 horse, maybe 2 right at the edge of his unit. But the way we all play around here is we move them. So that's how that charge came off. And I just had to reform the Knights Errant. There's nothing else we can do. So at the end of combat, I wasn't able to get rid of all the ghouls, which is bad, because now he might be able to raise some more up. And on my next turn, if those guys were gone, I could have charged the skeletons. But it wasn't meant to be. So in last turn of the game, his Black Knights get into the side of those men-at-arms. Gee, I wonder who's going to win that fight. His Vargulf, you notice his vampire's gone. So my lord killed his vampire, but now the Vargulf countercharged my general. At the end of the fight, it was a pillow fight, actually. My general didn't do any wounds on the Vargulf. He didn't do any wounds on me. And he won combat by 1 because he outnumbered me, and I rolled an 11 for my break test. And it's such a shame, too, because I could have positioned my general and my BSB a couple turns ago such that they would have been near each other, and with a reroll I would have stayed, and I think I would have survived if not beaten that Vargulf. So just broke my heart. Fighting on his turn, the Grail Knights, he had grown some of his crypt ghouls back, and the Grail Knights just killed more of them, so he's down to just 1. Predictably, the men-at-arms got destroyed. In his overrun, though, because his Black Knights unit's so wide, the skeletons were blocking him so that he couldn't overrun with his Black Knights into my Knights Errant. And what he wanted to do was just hold with his skeletons and overrun with his Black Knights and charge mine unit. And I said, and others agreed with me, that you can't run through your own unit on a pursuit. You can if you're fleeing, but you can't on a pursuit. So we just said that he could choose to pursue with his skeletons, and so the skeletons charged my guys, but I was saved from having to receive a charge from his Death Star unit. So Bretonnia turn 6. I move my BSB up, just give me some rerolls. We fight, and there we are at the end of the game. His stupid skeletons actually killed one of my knights. I didn't do much back, and for the most part we just held. And so what you're looking at here is all that's left on the board, with the exception of my skirmishing archers, who are on the lower right. So I felt halfway through the game that it was going to be an absolute massacre in his favor, and just the way it turned out, if you match it up, we both have 3 units and 2 characters still on the board. My skirmishing archers are worth more than his skeletons. My Knights Errant are worth more than his Black Knights, and my Grail Knights are worth about the same as his Vargulf. But his Vampire Lord and another Vampire are worth much, much more than my BSB and my Damsel. I have a table quarter. He doesn't, but he killed my general, so that equals out. We both have 1 banner because my peasant banners don't get victory points. So in the end, he ended up winning by 400 points in a 2250 game. So I was amazed when we figured that out. I thought he was going to massacre me, and it tended to be just a minor victory to him. So that was it. That was a real fun game with the Vampire Counts. Much happier with how this one turned out compared to our last game. He won the tournament. I came in second. The demon player that I played in game 2 ended up taking third. And that was it. Hope you enjoyed it.